past weekend was the Super Bowl, which meant we got a whole bunch of new trailers, ads, and creative promos for upcoming movies. So let's rank them. While I'm talking, be sure to join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of the new Super Bowl week trailers that we got and the other promos that we got in there as well. My list is not the right list. It's just my list, and I'd love to see yours. And the whole point of this is just to have fun talking about upcoming movies and their marketing. And when it comes to Super Bowl spots, it gets a little bit tricky because some drop like a week earlier, some don't play during the game, some are the pre-show. It gets confusing. If I included something I wasn't supposed to, oh well, I got to talk about another trailer I wouldn't have talked about otherwise, and let's get started. In Place X, Project Hail Mary. This is the final trailer for this film based off of a book from the author of The Martian, starring Ryan Gosling, and I didn't watch the trailer, which was a built-in thing. That wasn't that I just didn't do my homework for this video. I decided months ago that I wasn't going to watch any of the trailers for this movie because I was already very excited for it. My wife has read the book. She watched the trailer before I did, and she said, I feel like this trailer spoiled the biggest twist to the book, so don't watch the trailer. So I've just decided I'm not going to watch any of the trailers for Project Hail Mary, and I haven't up to this point in time, for the reason that it is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So if the question is, where would I rank my excitement for Project Hail Mary, we're in the top 3 on this list. If the question is about the trailer itself, I didn't watch it because, once again, my wife watched this trailer and told me, nope, sit this one out again. It spoils the thing that I don't think it should spoil. Number 11, Hoppers. And simply put, I'm not jiving at all with the marketing for this movie. Maybe some of that's just me moving into my cranky old man phase of life that I'll be in for the rest of my life. But I'm just not feeling it. Just the animation, the premise, the humor. It just feels like another broad comedy for families. None of the Pixar magic. I'm just not feeling it. Some early reactions came in a week or two ago, and they're pretty positive. So maybe I'm in for a very pleasant surprise when I check it out in a week or two. But as for right now, the marketing that they've put out just hasn't done anything to excite me or interest me in this project. Bringing us into the top 10, Masters of the Universe. To be perfectly clear, the placement of this TV spot isn't indicative of my excitement for the project. It is indicative that this TV spot was just a re-edit of the trailer that dropped several weeks ago. In which case, there just wasn't anything new compared to literally 2 weeks ago or whatever when the trailer dropped. So it didn't move the needle for my excitement for it. If we were once again ranking it based off my excitement for the project, we're going up into the top 5, like way up there. Childhood giddiness is pushing through with Masters of the Universe, but this specific spot did not bring anything new to the table. It was, just a re-edit. I get why they did it. I'm not mad at them, but as for me as an individual, it did not increase my interest. Number 9, The Mandalorian and Grogu parody spot, whatever you want to call it. This one got a bunch of headlines and a bunch of controversy surrounding it. I'll say this. I think it is actually a really clever idea, but it is a really bad spot for the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. And what do I mean by that? If you do this same premise for a spot like 5 years ago when Mandalorian season 1 and 2 kind of in its stride, people love Mando and Grogu, and they do a little bit of crossover with like Coca-Cola, and they do a parody of the Budweiser Clydesdales, where Mando and Grogu are being pulled by tauntauns and drink a Coke at the end of it. I think I would really enjoy that. Like the idea of them parodying the Budweiser horses with tauntauns. I get it. It puts a little grin on my face. But there's that's cute. That's a fun idea. Does not do anything to get me more excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. In which case, it's bad advertising for the movie. It's a fun idea for a Coke commercial or something like that. I get it. I understand fully and appreciate it. But it's like they put a clever idea on the wrong thing. Like, you don't market your movie like this. You need to re-earn trust and show the size, the spectacle. Not, hey, remember the beer commercials? We're doing that except with tauntauns. It's cute, right? Why would that get me excited for your movie? I like to eat healthy, high-protein meals, but I'm busy. I've got a YouTube channel, 3 kids, a wife, and it takes a lot of time to prep, cook, and clean up after a healthy meal. Factor removes that entire problem. It doesn't ask you to meal prep or follow recipes. 2 minutes, real food, done. Factor is already made by chefs, designed by dietitians, and delivered to your door. Always fresh, never frozen. It's whole food ingredients, lean proteins, colorful vegetables, and healthy fats. The stuff you would cook with if you had the time. Just got back from the gym. We've got queso fundido and ground beef and cauliflower rice, all with over 40 grams of protein. They have 100 rotating meals every week, high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, GLP-1 support, ready to eat salads, and a new Muscle Pro collection for strength and recovery. I love the fact that they added that last one. You pick what fits your goals. Healthier eating, calorie management, more protein, whatever you're actually trying to do. This isn't motivation to eat better. It's eliminating the reason you don't. I've been eating Factor meals for several years now, and you should too. Head to factormeals.com/SeanChandler50 off and use code SeanChandler50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. 8. The Devil Wears Prada 2. Now, this placement is largely based on the fact that I've never seen The Devil Wears Prada. And this trailer is almost exclusively characters reuniting and seeing how each character reacts to seeing each other for the first time since the last movie, supposedly, or whatever. Which doesn't mean anything to me as someone that hasn't watched the last movie. It doesn't translate. Like, I'm watching it, and it's got vibes. I can kind of feel the sense of the charm for why the people loved this movie. And yesterday, when I was watching this trailer and starting to prep this video, my wife was shocked to learn that I'd never seen The Devil Wears Prada. Somehow she didn't know that, which I don't know how she didn't know that, because that movie came out 20 years ago and we've been married 20 years. So we haven't watched it in 20 years. But I've never seen it. So I was watching it, and like, I get it in a sense, but also they sold this trailer. This trailer's designed to sell to existing customers, not for me. Thus, I can't have it particularly high on my list. Next up, Minions and Monsters. I was really torn on this. I really wanted to put this a bunch of spots lower. I just feel like I'm done with Despicable Me and Minions. And I've got kids, all of them 13 and under, one of them 7. I've grown up like before they were born, I'd seen these movies and like, okay, I kind of get this because I worked with teenagers and now I've had kids. And so that I understand that kids adore these movies and watch them on loop, and they continue to work. I get it. But for me, they're just so played out entirely. It's tough for me to get terribly excited for this movie. With that said, so my gut reaction was like, oh, put this towards the bottom. But I got to give my honest opinion. And the fact that they revealed the title with the trailer, I like that. That during the Super Bowl, actually, it's Minions and Monsters. I went, oh, that's fun. And it caught me a little off guard. And I went, it gave me a sense of excitement. It's just as simple as the title. It's not like this is a big reveal. It's not that big of a deal. But it was a nice little touch that I appreciated. And then when they go into this whole idea of we're going to make a movie where you're going to get your monster, and they do like a seance and they summon baby Cthulhu. I went, okay, you got me. You can still pull off cute, and even my hardened heart can go, all right. I can't say that I'm super excited, but they did a couple things right in there that made me go, yeah, I dig it. Number 6, Scream 7. I love the Scream movies. The original Scream is my favorite horror movie of all time. I'm actually currently rewatching all the films with my son while listening to a book on the making of them. So I'm doing a deep dive into these films. Kevin Williamson, the original writer of the original films, is here directing. Neve Campbell is back. There's so many things here that should make me like, yes, top 3. Trailers for this one haven't fully lit me on fire yet. It's stuff I enjoy, cast I enjoy. There's a bunch of things that have me rooting for it, and I don't want them to give everything away. And in whodunits, it's very easy to give too much away, so maybe they're holding an awful lot back. So the fact that this isn't higher with something that's such prime material that's so easy for me to enjoy is a statement of, I feel the trailers are underwhelming. At the same time, is this my kind of thing? Are there a number of shots in there? I was like, yeah. Is there, you hear Matthew Lillard's voice in there, and there's a psych ward. He's been planning it for years. Like, what are we doing here? There's plenty of stuff in here that's getting me excited, but not as excited as I would have liked. Or in another way of putting it, I feel like this movie almost feels like in competition with 5 and 6. For behind the scenes reasons, this is kind of true in different ways, but they're both different versions of 30 years later. Where are we at? They're both doing that. One of them with, of course, what they do with the Sam character, and then this one being 30 years later. Now Sydney has a daughter that was the age that she was when everything went down. They're kind of like in different ways toying with that same sort of vibes, in which case it feels like this one is diminished because we did 5, and we did kind of this. All right, all these years later, the next generation. Like, all right, yeah, the kids of the first. Yeah, we did that. We did kids of the last movie. So I just got some of those feelings of like, I love these ones, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But the trailers thus far have had just a few of these things that have made me like, I don't know. 5, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So they keep kind of like trickling out these little like teases, little mini trailers, and each one of them has been a pretty delicious little bite, especially giving us Yoshi and this little playing around in the world, the galaxy. They don't have to give you much to get you excited because we have such a built-in knowledge of Super Mario. And the question is, are they able to adapt it into animation, make it work? And they keep doing these little bite sizes and make you, yeah, they did it again. Yeah, there's Yoshi, there's this, there's that. They get you excited. So they don't have to do a lot to pull a lot of weight. Now, I am I really want a full trailer for this movie pretty soon. I was really expecting something a little bit meatier, which way I can't maybe put this one higher, but it was something. 4, Supergirl and her dog, Krypto. This is, I guess, the second year in a row they've done this, that they've done these kind of crypto things. I think they did one last year where there was maybe the Pup Bowl or something like that. But, like, Krypto is almost their, like, Super Bowl connection now. It's 2 years in a row, I think, unless I'm horribly confused, of, that tie-in with the dog. And I think I liked it more this year than last year just because it's become a tradition and something you're like, why are we're doing it with the dog? And then year 2, you're like, oh, the dog. Also, I was very skeptical and cynical towards Krypto until I saw the movie. So also for that reason, it probably wasn't the best selling point a year ago versus now where I love Krypto. But you do Krypto and is our little on-ramp with that little flavor of her getting her dog back. It's not Kal-El's dog, it's hers. And then a little bit of a recut of the stuff we've seen before, but with a little bit of time passing and that framing of the dog to just give it a little bit of energy for me. Real quick, before I give you my top 3, remember to join me down below in the comment section. Let me know, what were your favorite movie trailers that came out this past week? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, if you want to join in on some of my discussion of upcoming movies, I did a video on my most anticipated movies of the year, and then I did a box office draft, like a fantasy football style box office draft with my friends Adam and Cody, where we went through different rounds where we'd pick the movie that we thought would get the highest box office. Fun discussion, fun little project. We're going to come back next January and see who won and have prizes and losers, all that fun stuff. So please check out that video because that was a fun one to do, and I want to do more like that. In 3rd, Disclosure Day, and this is Steven Spielberg returning to kind of his classic genre, aliens arriving. So the first Spielberg movie in a long time. Obviously, he's put out a lot of movies, even very personal movies. His last movie, Fabelmans, it was like one of the most personal movies he's ever made. And I loved it. It was I think it's a great Spielberg film. But when I say classic Spielberg, this is a guy that's very famous for doing a number of different aliens come to Earth movies. And he hasn't done one, in 20 years since War of the Worlds. And so him returning, probably to give us his final Alien movie, and kind of tying it into what feels like some of his interests as of late, stuff with the news and I guess as of late, last 15 years, ties into some of, he's done other movies kind of touching with the news media and things like that. And so you see the flavor of him of the last 10, 15 years with kind of classic Spielberg merging together. And so these trailers are kind of like, yes, I hope this is as good as I want it to be. And I hope it does well. Like, send that message to Hollywood. We want more of this original stuff, telling stories. Yeah, please do well and be good. Our runner-up, The Adventures of Cliff Booth. I was not expecting to get anything for this movie for a while, because I assumed it came out in the fall. So this one was just not on my radar of something we would get footage from. Everything else on here, I'm like, oh, no, not terribly surprising. So this was the most pleasant surprise. And when I heard murmurs, because I was kind of I was watching the game at a church event, so it's not really watching the game particularly well. And so when I started to see the murmurs, Cliff Booth, I was like, I gotta check this out. And it was as fun and cool as I'd hoped. Of just a little tease returning to that world, little references to the previous film. And this era of Brad Pitt where, the last of the movie stars era Brad Pitt, where it's like he's trying to show the generations behind him, this is how it's done, of just the effortless charisma and charm on screen with whatever he's saying and the little smiles and everything. I am thoroughly enjoying modern day Brad Pitt. Like 15 years ago, I've always liked Brad Pitt. But I feel like right now, and maybe it's just having the right movies at the right pace of, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, F1, and I'm doing this, like, I'm doing the right pacing of things that are like, yeah, Brad Pitt. Like, picking the right projects to get me excited. But at the same time, just watching, that was my takeaway. Like, man, he's so good. He's so good at this. And I can't wait to go back to this Quentin Tarantino-ified version of Hollywood. But at the same time, through the eyes of David Fincher. So I can't wait to check this one out. But coming in first, I'm going with Michael. And I'd had my skepticism about this project for a while because I wasn't quite sure how you tackle the life of Michael Jackson and truly capture everything in there and not have it be too dark, but have an inspirational, but not be too, like, how do you deal with the controversy of the end of there's so much to tackle there. I just wasn't really sure. And so I put out some videos, very skeptical of this one. And then they put out that first teaser, was it 3 months ago or whatever, and I was like, oh, I get it. I grew up in a family that wasn't like super plugged into new music, pop culture, anything like that. My parents, their musical tastes were solidified in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and so that's what they played at the house. Except when a new Michael Jackson song came out. And so I remember watching in living color, to watch the Black or White music video when it first debuted and Remember the Times. And I remember that from my childhood. The only time we ever paused, there's something happening from regards to music was when new Michael Jackson music video dropped. And just watching that first teaser captured that, like how much like a true icon, that it didn't matter what you were into. Like you watched this, every eye was on him. And that first teaser captured that. But I still wasn't sure what the movie was. And then this trailer, I didn't know what I was expecting. But, the whole thing is really about his dad and him trying to be himself. And I was like not at all the angle I was expecting, not at all the vibe I was expecting, but kind of continuing to tap into this energy of the power, the talent, the magnetism that was Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5 throughout the 90s, of just there was something so magical about what he brought to this world as an entertainer and the trauma that it took for that to happen. And the interesting nature of his, like a family so close, but also so toxic, while having just like this idea of dreaming and chasing it, like hit all the right buttons while capturing that nostalgia for me. Of just even a different era of pop culture, like not just my childhood, but of a way that we interacted with celebrity and music that is so fragmented in an era of algorithms, Spotify, and YouTube. And Michael Jackson was the peak of true pop culture. He was the king of pop, and these trailers are capturing that. And this trailer also found the humanity that is so easy to miss with such a larger-than-life character. So for me, comes in at number 1. Let me know your ranking down below. Remember to check out that video I did with the box office draft. That was a ton of fun. I would love it if you checked that out. Thank you so much for watching. Keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.